We're back. We're talking about three types of cages systems now. The one cage system is the pentatonic system, which everybody knows. Okay. The second cage system we're going to talk about in the third. They get a little complicated, but they're easy if you follow along. So don't forget, if you like these videos, hit the like button and subscribe and the bell. And below the video, there'll be instructions to access my Facebook group page where you can view the videos and also the charts themselves in fairly good resolution. But you can't do all this zooming and stuff, or it'll pixelize out. But they're in pretty good resolution. I use the Facebook charts to to look at what's going on with it. When I'm doing a little description on Facebook, I'll zoom in. You just hit the magnifier on the Facebook page and you can zoom in a little bit there and pretty much see what's going on. So what we're talking about is the short cages here. So this is the E short cage. Alright, so in the key of C, my E would be my B is way up here. B is a seventh of C, so it would just be 7 root 2 3 4 5 6 7 root 2 3 4 5 6. That's warped over. Notice I had to kind of warp myself over there, and then okay. The thing about it is, if we had a fret nut right there, if we had our fret nut right there and that root right there, don't worry about it lower root. Its root is root, but we did go up an octave. So why does it say lower root if we went up an octave? Well, because we're down here now. We're down here now. Okay, the upper root is upper root. Here's middle C. Here's upper root. Here's lower root. Okay, so if there was a fret nut there, then we couldn't. These would be the open notes right here. Root 4, 5. Okay, we wouldn't be able to access the whole E cage. Now this is the pentatonic cage. Okay, so we wouldn't be able to access these guys. They'd be sunken. Kind of no string, no play. String not long enough. So that's the one of the drawbacks. It is the drawback. Let's face it, let's give the regular pentatonics cage a drawback, because all people ever talk about is drawbacks to the long patterns, or if they are, worried about long patterns, so we should talk about why did the long patterns come along? Because the drawbacks of the cage here around the fret nut. All right. So that's the E cage there, and you have the modals on this fretboard. So 1 4 5 is an E-shaped an E-shaped C would be up here with me, and then we have an A-shaped fourth and a C-shaped fifth. So we got the A-shaped fourth and then the C-shaped G that I can play. That fourth is a little too much for my big fingers there. It'd be up here. Of course it sounds good, and if you got the fretboard, you got it, play it, use it. You can do the modal scales from the pentatonic cages, of course. Just start on the 7th. So instead of starting on the root, if you wanted to play a Locrian scale, you just start on the 7th, follow the same pattern. I kind of cheated there looking at the notes there, but because that warped up partial pattern up there. So we could talk about patterns if it's necessary. In the E cage we use the S4E. So we're going to go E string shape, C string shape, G string shape, D string shape. What are these string shapes? These are the bottom strings of that particular box in the short short cages too. Okay, so these are the string shapes, the short string shapes. Let's talk about for a minute. I've got something going on out there. Somebody cutting a tree up all morning. That is really loud, but it's down the road a little bit, so. But you can hear it. It sounds just like an annoying hum, like, you know, somebody just buzzing and stuck somewhere. Okay, so string 3 and string 4 ruled, but this is actually the 6 strings rule. Okay, so we have here a little D box here. It will work perfect for this. Alright, so let's just square up that D box there so we know what we're talking about over here. Works with the D box, works with any box. Okay, long or short patterns. Because with the long patterns, we definitely have to identify the short patterns within the long patterns. We still are going to use the cage system with the long cage system. So the long cage system encompasses the short cage system within it, but not particularly obviously. Not obviously, but certainly part of it is exactly the same. So we'll talk about that. Let's look at this now. String 1 is the string shape, so bottom string, base string shape, BSS, base string shape. Okay. Cage definition. The D right here, ignore the E because we're looking at the letter and then what notes are surrounding it. 3 and 4 and 7 and root are buddies, so they're considered, you know, to be outer or inner notes, you know, of the string shape. So we got D here, so the D string shape is 2, 3, 4. Okay, so that would be the base string shape. Now string 2 is the 5th of that caged. So string 2 is the A. What's the 5th of A? Or is it the 5th of D rather is A? Okay, so the string 2 is going to be the 5th of that. As a matter of fact, every string up is going to be the 5th of the string below it. And conversely, every string below each string is going to be the 4th string shape of that string shape. The only rule is with 1, 4, 5, it works for D easily. Okay, it works for G string shape easily. It works for A string shape easily. But with the C string shape, it's 1, 3, 5, because the 4th of C string shape is the E string shape. Okay, and similarly with the E string shape, it's 3, 6 root, because the 4th of the E string shape, of course, is the A string shape. So you got A in the key of E, you got E, A, C, but the 5th of the E string shape is the C string shape. So they're converse pairs. The 4th of the C string shape is the E string shape. The 5th of the E string shape is the C string shape. Sorry. So that's with the 4th and the 5th. Now that works both ways too. So it works up and down, and it works right and left in cages and in string shapes. So if I've got an A string shape here, go up from the A string shape is the E string shape. Go down would be the 4th of the A string shape, would be the D string shape. 2, 3, 4, so A string shape's 5, 6, because it's the bottom string in the A cage, which is that Mixolydian cage. Okay, where'd that come from? With an A,